Ready to open the hood? UseTool for the tutorials.
And for car parts, the right idea is the Mr. Auto app. Easy, fast, and with better prices than on the website.
You can find the bulk timing kit in the video exclusively on the Mr. Auto website and in the link in the description. Turn your engine off, pull up the handbrake, pull on the bonnet release lever and open the bonnet. Before you do this, we recommend you watch our video titled 10 Things to Know When Changing a Timing Belt. For safety reasons, we recommend unplugging the battery. To take off the battery cover, take the tab of the cover and pull it upwards carefully. Do the same with the second part of the cover. Never start by disconnecting the positive terminal with all the cars still connected to the minus terminal. This risks creating dangerous sparks in the electric network of your car. Using a socket wrench and an 8mm socket, start by removing the negative terminal from the battery. Once removed, ensure you distance the cable to avoid untimely reconnections, which could damage the electrical network of your vehicle. Take off the engine cover. Loosen the stud bolts on the passenger side wheel. Lift the front of the vehicle. Place the vehicle on the axle stands. We strongly suggest watching the tutorial, raising your vehicle safely before carrying out this step. You can then remove the wheel. Don't forget to slide them onto the vehicle. If the front plastic crankcase is present, you should now remove it. You will first have to empty the coolant fluid circuit. Using adjustable pliers or the specific tool used in the video, remove the hose connected to the radiator, located under the fan on the driver's side. For more information on this step, it is essential to watch the video How to Drain and Purge the Citroën C3 1.4 HDI coolant system. You will also need to remove the mud guards. Remove the holding clips using a fork. You can now take off the mud guard. For this operation, you have to remove the accessory belt. Using a 15mm spanner or offset wrench, loosen the belt by lifting the tensioner pulley. At the same time, remove the belt. You will then need to remove the damper pulley. To do this, you need to stop the crankcase from rotating by stopping the flywheel from rotating. Take the flywheel timing pin. Insert it into the slot between the gearbox housing and the exhaust line. While maintaining light pressure on the timing pin, rotate the damper pulley using a socket wrench and an 18mm socket. This will rotate the crankshaft and the flywheel until you can insert the pin into the flywheel timing point. Once the flywheel is locked, you can unscrew the screw holding the damper pulley in place using the socket wrench, an extender, and the 18mm socket. Remove the damper pulley. Put the damper pulley screw and washer back onto the crankshaft sprocket. This will allow you to rotate the timing belt during subsequent operations. You can now remove the flywheel timing pin. For this operation, you will have to remove the passenger side engine support. You will therefore have to offset with a jack placed in support of the oil pan. You're also going to have to regularly raise and lower the engine to gain access to certain areas. Using a pry bar, unclip the cable sleeve from the upper timing case. Then move the sleeve aside. Using a T50 torque socket, unscrew the 3 screws holding the right-hand engine mount to the intermediate mount. Using the same tools, unscrew the 2 screws holding the engine mount to the chassis. Then remove the engine frame. Using a socket wrench and a 16mm socket, unscrew the 4 screws holding the intermediate mount in place. To access and remove the various screws, adjust the height of the engine with a jack if necessary. Using a 7mm socket, unscrew the 5 screws holding the upper timing case in place. Unclip the plastic holder of the cable sleeve on the crankcase. You can now remove the upper timing case. You can now see the timing belt on the camshaft pulley. Remove the intermediate mount. Now you need to remove the lower timing case. Using a 7mm socket, unscrew the 5 screws holding the case in place without removing them completely. Using the same tools, unscrew the screw holding the anti-shift bracket in place. Using a socket wrench and a 10mm socket, unscrew the screw holding the TDC sensor in place. Unclip the TD sensor cable. Disconnect the TD sensor connector, then remove the lower timing case. You can now see the timing belt on the crankshaft sprocket and on the water pump. Remove the TD sensor. Then remove the anti-shift bracket. The TDC sensor works by means of the magnetic plate. It is essential that it does not come in contact with magnetized tools. It should also be checked for damage. If it is damaged, it must be replaced. It is time to set the engine. This is a crucial step. This vehicle has 3 timing points. For this operation, you can use the class OM3777 timing set, which you will find on the video description. On the crankshaft, on the camshaft pulley, on the high-pressure pump. Turn the engine clockwise using the camshaft sprocket. Never ever turn the engine in an anti-clockwise direction. Rotate the crankshaft sprocket until the opening of the magnetic strip points upwards, allowing you to insert the crankshaft timing pin into its timing point. On this engine, even if the crankshaft is timed, this may not correspond with the crankshaft timing point. In this case, remove the timing pin and give the crankshaft sprocket an extra turn, which corresponds with a half turn of the crankshaft pulley. This will allow you to align the opening window on the crankshaft pulley with its timing point. Reinsert the crankshaft sprocket timing pin. Then install the crankshaft timing pin. When the 2 timing gauges are installed, this usually corresponds with the high-pressure pump timing point. If it doesn't, you need to remove the timing gauges and rotate the crankshaft sprocket again until the next crankshaft and camshaft timing point is reached and until the high-pressure pump can also be timed. Insert the high-pressure pump timing pin. Your engine is now timed. Using a socket wrench and a 13mm socket, unscrew the screw holding the tensioner pulley in place by a few threads. Then, using an Allen key, loosen the tensioner pulley, which will release the tension in the belt. Finish unscrewing the screw. Remove the tensioner pulley. You can now remove the timing belt. Using a socket wrench and a 16mm socket, unscrew the knot holding the take-up pulley in place. Then remove the pulley. You will now need to remove the water pump. Using a socket wrench, an extender and an 8mm socket, unscrew and remove the 7 screws holding the water pump in place. Some of the screws are unscrewed from the top of the vehicle, others from the bottom. Please note that there's always some coolant left in the engine. Get a collection can for the liquid to collect the coolant when it comes out. Remove the water pump by prying or pulling on it. Remove the water pump seal if it is still on the engine block. In order to avoid any leaks, you have to properly clean the gasket surface on the water pump.
Okay, guys, if we can share this video with you and help you save a lot of money, is also thanks to our partner, Mr. Auto. So, if you want to support us and buy the parts for this operation, visit their website. Okay, back to work.
You will find the bulk parts and products used in the video on the Mr. Auto site and in the link in the description. Take your new water pump. Everyone's natural reflex is to take the water pump in hand and turn the pump to check that it's working properly. But this is a serious mistake, as that can irreversibly damage the water pump. Why? The internal mechanical seal is not yet lubricated. The coolant is not yet performing its sealing and lubricating function between the dynamic and static seals. The rotation of the water pump in dry conditions will cause intense friction between the two components and will damage them before repair, even before installation. This will cause coolant to leak constantly from the water pump. It is necessary to immerse the pump in coolant and run it about 10 times to form a mechanical seal, which acts as lubricant and protective film between the dynamic and static seals, similar to the film created by oil between the cylinder wall and the piston rings. Get the new seal. Install it on the water pump. Tip: put 2 screws in place on the pump, which will make it easier to hold the seal in place during installation. Install the new water pump and screw it back on until it makes contact. It is essential to follow the screwing sequence shown in the video to avoid leaks during use. Finish tightening with a torque wrench, again following the correct sequence. Get the new take-up pulley. Put it back in place. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Take the new tensioner pulley provided in the kit. Put the tensioner pulley back in place, making sure the indexing fork is correctly fitted into the engine block. Then roughly screw it back on by hand until it makes contact. Remove the locking pin. Take the new belt, paying careful attention to the proper direction to assemble it. The arrows on the belt have to point clockwise. You now have to put in the new belt. Start by installing the belt on the crankshaft sprocket. Then bring it over the take-up pulley. Install it on the crankshaft pulley, maintaining a degree of tension so that as many teeth as possible are available for installing the belt on the other components. Then wind it over the water pump and the high-pressure pump pulley. Finish by installing it on the tensioner pulley. This stage can be rather difficult. Some recommend an alternative method that involves placing the tensioner at the same time as the belt. According to the manufacturer's recommendation, a properly installed belt should have 33 free teeth on the belt strand between the crankshaft pulley and the crankshaft sprocket. Warning: the pulley on the engine should never be tensioned by turning clockwise. Using a 6mm Allen key, tension the belt by turning it anti-clockwise until the index of the moving part of the pulley is in the center of the control zone. While maintaining the tension of the pulley with the Allen key, secure the tensioner pulley nut with a torque wrench. Before checking the assembly, put the anti-shift bracket back in place and screw it back on. Put the TD sensor back in place and screw it back on. Then remove the timing gauges. You now have to check the assembly on the timing belt. Using a socket wrench, and while still working in an anti-clockwise direction, give 2 full turns to the timing belt, which is the same as 1 engine cycle. This enables you to check the proper synchronization of the engine and that the setting has been done properly. Be aware that this compression of the engine may make the rotation difficult. Nevertheless, check that there's no significant blockages. Once the 2 turns on the timing belt have been made, you now have to reset the engine. Repeat the previous timing instructions, then reinsert the timing gauges. If you've been able to put the 3 timing gauges back in and there's no shift, your belt is correctly installed. Take this opportunity to check the tensioner pulley tension after the 2 belt turns. Then remove the timing gauges. Put the intermediate mount back in place. Then screw the 4 screws back on until they make contact. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Put the lower timing case back in place. Then screw the 5 screws back on. Reconnect the TDC sensor. Put the upper case back in place then screw the 5 retaining screws back on. Clip the cable sleeve back onto the upper crankcase. Now you need to repeat the flywheel locking technique to put the damper pulley back in place. Next, unscrew the screw holding the damper pulley in place. Put the damper pulley back in place. The keyed connections on the pulley and crankshaft sprocket are there to help you install the damper pulley correctly. Take the new damper pulley retaining screw supplied in the kit. Then put it back in place. It is essential to fit a new screw as it is a single-use expansion screw. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Then add the recommended torque angle using the paint marker technique to have a mark and to visualize the correct torque angle. Remove the timing pin. Put the right-hand engine mount back onto the intermediate mount. Then screw the 3 screws back on. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Then screw the 2 engine mount screws back onto the chassis. Finish off the tightening with a torque wrench. Lower the engine using the jack. Remove the jack. You can now put the drive belt in place. Pay careful attention to which way up you use it. The writing on the belt must turn clockwise. Thread the belt between the different sections as shown in the original assembly diagram. Using a 15mm spanner or offset wrench, loosen the tensioner pulley. Then release the tensioner pulley to fully extend the belt. Put the mudguard back in. Replace the holding clips. You can then put the vehicle wheel back in place and lower your car to the ground, not forgetting to fully fix the wheel in place. Reconnect the battery. Before using your vehicle, you have to put the coolant fluid back in and purge the air from the circuit. How to drain and purge the coolant system on a Citroën C3 1.4 HDI. Put the engine cover back on. Operation completed.
Hi, it's Theo from UseTool. I hope this video has helped you a lot in your car maintenance. We would be super grateful if you could spread the word so that we can produce even more tutorials. Simply give us a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us boost the channel and help the whole community. Thanks a lot and have a great one.